Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another evening full of chaos. It's why you come back every week, with our focus turning to the FA Cup 5th round and the upcoming internationals. So we've got that. We'll have obscure noughties TV show references as usual, and the usual amount of chaos. Now, as you can see, I'm joined this evening by a lovely panel. I've got our lovely Danny and Paul, and we've got the lovely Rob as well. How are you all? Doing well?
Surviving.
Said with such enthusiasm.
Hey, you've seen how Coventry City have done the past few, weeks up and down and mid-game and changes at work as well that I'm worrying a bit about. But yeah, I get to come here and forget all about that and talk about football. And
exactly, I was going to say an hour and a half. Of time where we can just focus on the chaos, focus on the football, and take our minds off what might be going on.
In the words of Alex Parks, maybe that's what it takes.
Yes, Fame Academy reference
straight in there this week. God bless him.
Have you briefed Rob about the fact that, as well as football, he'll need to be up on obscure North?
Yeah. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm already well. For me, again, it's one of those. And it was for a great number of the audience that didn't know that. Look up Fame Academy.
Very good. Right in, Rob. Great. Yes, thank you so much for everyone who is joining us. We've got our lovely Chris in the chat. Chris, extra bonus points for you being the first one in the chat this evening. It's been quiet in the chat tonight, so if you are watching and want to get involved, please do so. We've got a lovely little community going on. But yeah, we can't wait to talk to you about this weekend's action, plus another couple of bits and pieces from the latest news. And we're going to be looking at the 2 new official NWSL kits that have been released so far. Because, as we may have mentioned, one of them is a winner, and I need to buy it immediately when I can. Right then, so let's start then, and let's have a look, because we've got our scores on the doors from this weekend. I'll let you all have a look through. And in fact, most of them were home wins, which was fantastic. And only 2 went to extra time. Rob's going to talk to us all about that Chelsea game. And only 1 game went to penalties. So really, we keep talking about, I know when the fixtures first came out, but we were like, there's not really any cup sets. There's no jeopardy in many of these games. And then actually, that's what happened in the results. Most of them they did win in regular time. So let's have a look then. I don't really want to talk about Charlton until Graham's here. So let's have a look through. Now let's start with. I'll tell you what, Rob. Why don't we start with you? Because so Chelsea 2, Man United 1 after extra time. Chelsea managing to get that win, of course, but as our Chelsea correspondent for the evening, how was the game for you? Did you expect it to go into extra time, or did you think Chelsea could have done it regular time? What do you think?
I mean, I think generally Chelsea played quite well, especially in the first half. They created some really good chances, and they're not for 2 very, very good saves from Fallon Tullis-Joyce. They could have been 2-0 up at half time, and you were saying actually it's a very accomplished cup type performance. In the second half, they were a little bit more sloppy. Jess Parker was at the very long range effort that cracked back off the post, but I think it was a very typical tight cup tie between top WSL teams. I tend to say, with the FA Cup especially, you rarely get ties with where the big 4, for want of a better phrase, face each other. And it tends to go, a walkover one way. It tends to be a 1-0 or a 2-0 with a late goal, or a 1-1 and then a late winner, or something like that. You don't tend to get them absolutely walking over each other unless, the officials intervene and give an early red card or something, or, a team is 4-0 up within 20 minutes. You don't tend to sort of get these walkover fixtures. I do think that it was one of those games that it showed Chelsea, I think, in their very classic style of being gritty and being able to win games while not necessarily being at their absolute best. But I do also think it showed, in some ways, it showed a concern for Chelsea fans, the fact that the goal that they conceded was such a really cheap goal out of absolutely nothing. That said, United also conceded an equally cheap goal out of nothing. And considering both teams, I've spoken to various United fans all year, we've griped about our set pieces on both sides not being good enough. It's an odd game where all 3 goals were decided by set pieces, and none of them really actually set pieces of supreme quality where I sat there and thought, yeah, there was no way you could defend against that, or what an outstanding delivery. It was more balls being, knocked back into the box, or speculative balls and then not failing to clear the second ball. But at the end of the day, cup competitions are all about winning. You don't remember, your quarterfinals and your semi-finals and your last 16 games that go to extra time. By the time you win it at Wembley, you remember your team winning it at Wembley. You don't remember those, games earlier in the stage. So I think ultimately all about getting through and all about winning.
No, and you're absolutely right. As a Villa fan, I don't know what you're talking about getting to Wembley, but but I'm sure it must be a lovely feeling. We've got to keep hold of those 4th round ties because that's all we ever get to. But how does it feel having not only Sam Kerr back scoring as well? Because I know there's been comments around her playing time, that kind of thing. But of course, was it Naomi Gurma's? Was it her first goal for the club?
Yeah, Naomi Gurma's first goal for the club. I mean, it's funny because Sam Kerr, I talked to Carl Roberts, obviously, of AFU, and literally I messaged him when Sam Kerr was coming on, and I said, how many minutes? He said, in 10 minutes it's going in the back of the net, and sure enough, he got the turnovers. There's all, whenever it scores, it was bloody her. It reminds me of when Chelsea men used to play against Manchester United, Javier Hernandez used to exist. I could watch him the week beforehand or the day before the game be flown to Antarctica and sealed in a block of ice, and still yet he'd be turning up at the back post to tap it across against Chelsea. It was so bloody infuriating. I imagine Sam Kerr has that same level of dread for Manchester United fans. I'm sure they're delighted for the cup final with the fact that, she's going to be at the Asia Cup, although yet still somehow, I'm sure in their wildest dreams, she'll still somehow be coming off the bench and, appearing at the back post to score before disappearing again against them in the final minutes. But I do think that, honestly, nothing would faze me. I think it was, it was nice to see Naomi Gurma score as well. I think Gurma has faced a lot of unfair flack at times when she's been at Chelsea, just purely for the fact of the price tag on it and the fact you don't really see defenders go for that price tag. And I do happen to feel that, ultimately, if it had been, and I'll be completely honest, if it had been a Lioness going for that price tag, I think everyone would be saying, wow, they're worth it. And I think it's simply because it's a player from the NWSL and there's a tendency in the English press to beat down the NWSL and beat it down at every opportunity, that it was kind of, is she worth it? Is she ready? Gurma has everything in her locker to be an elite centre-half. The player who really I do think, however, should have got player of the match in that game was Villa Berman. Playing at left back, and I
was going to say it because I've heard a lot of people talk about Burman's performance, and just exactly what you were probably going to say. If people don't know who she is, why is she so special?
I mean, at the time when Berman was signed, Amber van Lieshout, who's a fantastic, Dutch football journalist, she said to me at the time, you're signing one of the top Dutch players, and she compared her to some of the great Dutch defenders of historically, and sort of said, she's going to be one of those mainstays of the national team next year. And I think it was quite interesting. Chelsea last year let her stay out on loan in the Netherlands, kept her away for a year, and then have slowly and gradually been blooding her in. And I sort of compared it to the way a few years ago that Chelsea, again, they sort of did a similar job a few years ago with bloody Invika Kaptein. She sort of came in and was coming in and out, and then by the end of the year she was a mainstay. I think my prediction for the end of this season is that by the end of the year, Vela Berman will, I think probably the first choice Chelsea 11, and this will be controversial, will not feature Millie Bright in it. I think the first choice 11 will feature probably Carpenter, Bjorn, Gurma, and Vela Berman, because it suits the team more in build-up. She's got a fantastic passing range on her. Her slide tackles are telescopic, as seen by the one, on Jess Park that people have seen various clips of. I think it was, it's a real credit and a feather in her cap that Jess Park actually moved from the right-hand side area that she first operated in into that central area in order to get space, because she simply was getting no time on the ball. I think technically she got credit with the assist for the second goal. I mean, no, for the first goal, again, just sort of knocking it back into the area of uncertainty. But it was, at the end of the day, assists, I think, are a nonsense number anyway, but always nice to collect one for a player. And I think she's probably one of the real scouting successes of Chelsea in recent years. And I expect to see her play an awful lot more.
was going to say high praise indeed. Just looking at the comments there as well. Yeah, Kachua saying Burma future Chelsea captain. What do you reckon of that one, Rob? She got potential.
I mean, she is a real natural leader. I mean, I believe I am right in saying, yeah, exactly that. I mean, it's like one of those things. I think she's only 19, and like I said this, at the time when Amber sort of said to me about her message, and she said there's a crop of young Dutch players coming through that obviously won the under 20. Won the under 20 Euros, I think it was. It might be the World Cup, but it was herself, Femke Liefting, who's also on Chelsea's books, Vika Kaptein. They've gone and picked a lot of that squad up, and some of the other top talents are around Europe and are, increasingly clubs are looking at the Vrouwen Eredivisie and seeing it as, in a similar way to the men's Eredivisie. They're seeing it as a really good talent factory, especially for young players. And I think conversely, young players are then being attracted to this division because it's showing them a route to Europe, and especially through, people like, not necessarily even at Chelsea, but people like Victoria Pelova, for instance, when at Ajax did well and then moved to Arsenal. You've seen Rome look to do well at Ajax and then move to Paris Saint-Germain. Lily Johannes do well at Ajax and then go to OL Lyon. It's not as if there's, not opportunities for these players to come across. And even it doesn't necessarily have to be at the top. Obviously, Annie Allen came over to Chelsea and did well, and so I think kick-started this whole sort of element of it. So I do think that there's sort of some really interesting prospects. And I think it's a big thing for the Dutch national team because historically they've been really strong and they've kind of had to go through a bit of a cultural revolution and a changing of the guard. And I do think now it would be fascinating to see where they are in a couple of years' time, because you have people like, Berman, who, when the next World Cup rolls around, she's only going to be 21 still. And yet by that point, you're talking about someone who's probably going to have 100 plus competitive games under her belt. It's so much experience at a young age, and I think that's kind of vital, to be honest.
No, it is. And it's so incredibly impressive as well. And, that's Chelsea's scouting ability for years, wasn't it? It was, above everyone else. Now, Rob, we haven't seen you since the Paul Green news, of course. How did you feel when you heard that? How much of a big impact that can have on the club?
I mean, I'll keep it firstly. I want to firstly say, with Paul Green, it's not necessarily just the players that you see at the moment at the club, but all of the players that have come through the club in that time, whether they've stayed for a long period of time or a short period of time, they've been a club legend or they haven't necessarily worked out. Every single one of them would probably have good things to say to you about Paul Green. It sort of says testament that when this news broke, there were people from all sorts of around the footballing sphere saying it to me and saying, I can't believe this has happened, ranging from players to players' parents to ex-players to other staff members to staff members at rival clubs, and saying, I'm stunned this has happened. I think, my feelings on it have been very well documented and made known. I don't really think it's right to rehash them. I will say that I do think the one benefit for Chelsea is that there was such a fantastic network left in place and such an amazing network left in place. And now what they now need to do is ensure that whoever takes on that role is qualified enough to take advantage of that network in place, because that network was, the reason why they got late win, for instance, that Kira Walsh was available a couple of years ago and were able to go ahead and make that deadline day move was due to the fact Paul Green got a tip-off from someone. They got a tip-off that OL Lyon were going for Naomi Girma due to work by Paul Green in the putting work in the in the background. Paul Green was pretty much the reason why Alyssa Thompson's move ended up going through before the deadline, because he simply went ahead and said, look, this is what you need to do and then we'll handle the rest. There have certainly been I think some interesting sort of comments made by Bon Pastor about from a recruitment POV in the last couple of months, but I do want to actually stress that Sonia Bon Pastor herself was actually kind of blindsided by the news and didn't actually necessarily expect it to happen when it happened. She herself had a very good relationship with Paul Green. Obviously, Emma Hayes' relationship with Paul Green is legendary. And, ultimately, wherever he ends up in football, Chelsea's loss is going to be someone else's gain. I do wonder if it will be a case that with Paul Green, he may choose to actually in some way work with Emma again on the national level, or indeed may end up being working with the national FA. I don't necessarily know if he'll go in and do a role from the very, grassroots again. He might want to try another league out. Obviously, it's been well documented that Ralph Kellerman, another pillar of, VfL Wolfsburg in recent years, has left. And maybe perhaps, his journey is going to take him to Germany, into another club that at the moment, quite frankly, does need a bit of a rebuild and is the sort of thing he's sort of perfect for. So, I think ultimately the main thing really to focus on, rather than, I think, focusing on the anger and the frustration, which is inevitably there. And I think, you've started to hear it bubble over at games. I think there will be a more formal protest against it at some point. I think the main thing is to focus on actually what an amazing man he was, not just for Chelsea, but just for English football in general and for every level of the club and every level of women's football at the club. He was someone who believed that women's football should have its, equal standing and equal status, and believed that Chelsea women should be, in the same elite bracket that the men's team have been historically, and help make it happen. So I think that's, the key thing really to stress.
100%. And, even from obviously a neutral perspective, just seeing all the outpouring of appreciation and love for him when he's departed the club, it just makes you think, like you said, whoever does pick him up next or whatever role he goes to, he's bringing that wealth of experience that, isn't matched really anywhere else. So yeah, I just wanted to pick your brain about that one, because of course I haven't seen you since. Yes, so Chris has said, not sure if the YouTube chat is broken or not. We're getting some messages through, but we do have a Graham now. We do have a Graham. He's done it. He's gone through
chatting through the twits. Is that what's happening? I think.
Yes. So, if you do want to comment, get involved in YouTube, it's not working for you. If you go on X, and send your messages through that way, if your YouTube isn't working, because again, everyone that gets involved, we do appreciate you to talk about your team and your thoughts. So yes, Chris, absolutely, YouTube having major issues. And Matt says, bravo, Rob, as well. Yes, very, very well said. Thank you very much. Now, so Chelsea made it through, knocking Man United out after extra time. Danny, we're going to come to you, because the only game to go to penalties was on Monday night. It was London City versus the Spurs. However, even more importantly, you mentioned there might be something to do with the dog in this one.
Oh, there's a dog. There's a dog in the crowd, which you would love to see. I'd love to see a dog in the crowd. It's a great dog as well. I sent you a picture, didn't I think, at the time, thinking, reminds me of this. Always love to see a dog. Who was it who brought a dog the other day? There was another one, I think, somewhere else. But more dogs at games, Isa.
More dogs, yes.
But, it was a Monday night treat, wasn't it? Enjoyed it immensely.
It was. Well, the issue, of course, being that most of the games were shown on TNT, which I pay far too much money for all of the subscriptions. TNT's the one I don't have, so I was kind of like, I'll just do it for the highlights.
It wasn't the best. I think the coverage as well has been. I don't know if BBC have just given up because they weren't showing many games, but it's annoyed me.
Can I just comment on this, because I know something on this.
Oh yeah.
So specifically because of the exclusivity deal, and this is utterly ridiculous, and I want to criticize it to the high heavens. And I spoke to a club on this, and they said it's complete nonsense. The BBC aren't allowed to do live text on the Women's FA Cup, because the exclusivity rights state that the live texts are allowed to the sole broadcaster, and because Discovery don't choose to have a live feed on their website, they're not allowed to. They're allowed to do it, I think, from the semi-final onwards, but it utterly bonkers. So that is why they weren't allowed to do any live text coverage, which is just utterly. And I spoke to,
No, go for it.
Are they allowed to do match reports as well? Because there's literally nothing.
There are
games, and there's nothing anywhere, which is.
I think they're allowed to do a roundup article, but that is it. They're allowed. That's why there's the article roundup. I think it is about Chelsea getting through, but they're not allowed to do anything more than that. And I think the roundup article has to be after 24 hours after the game, so it's something happens and this has got to be in it, and you've got to include the draw in it and stuff like that. But yeah, I have to admit, like I hold the FA Cup in great reverence, and I've made it well known to people that given the choice between the FA Cup or the Conti Cup, because I think the Conti Cup is an absolute nonsense, but it's its own argument. I would put the FA Cup. I would give the FA Cup a Champions League spot. I would give the FA Cup a Champions League spot on both the men and the women's side because of how highly I hold it in reverence and what a competition I hold it as. And I don't feel that I feel the TV deal is the right. It was the right intention. It was the right ideas, but it was the wrong execution. Yeah. And like talking to clubs and stuff about it, like it's just made it so inaccessible.
Yeah, you've got to make it accessible to everyone. And the FA, this is the FA Cup is the 5th round. It's not like you can get away with it by saying it's the early round, but it's like the 5th round.
Yeah, it's not like the preliminaries
with this. It's just mad. But yeah, so like the coverage and the availability of even to find reports or anything on these games is like it's bizarre that there's not much around. You have to go on like individual club sites to find them and things like that.
As well, because you can't even get. You know how on Yahoo, if you googled on Yahoo, yeah, I'm sending on now. If you Google
on Ask Jeeves, they tell you.
If you Google WSL previously, FAWSL, and it does the whole thing, like, you know, you Google the men's games and you can check in on the live scores, and it will actually show you proper coverage of it. The WSL, it doesn't. It won't. Like, while the games are on, you cannot find the scores by Google. You have to go via.
But it used to. That's the thing. They've completely changed it, so they don't show goal scorers anything, minutes. So frustrating.
My rants about the commentary are famous as someone who's commentated on WSL. They've gone backwards because most of the commentary now is, I've been told, it's basically Sky taking the people who they want to give a few quid to keep on their books because they might want them to do the FA Vars, or they might want them to do the Vanarama conference or whatever the hell conference South or North is called now. And you know, that's not how you treat a professional league. Is basically we'll stick the people who we don't quite think are good enough to do the men's game. But a lot of them don't really want to be there because they want to be doing the men's game. And so the
people have got different specialities. So get the people who are passionate about women's football on, who know how to pronounce names. I've got a fantastic pronunciation of Amand Benet, by the way, when we talk about the City game. That I had to stop it, pause it, rewind it, and go, who? And it wasn't until I looked at her face and I went, oh, you meant to say Benet, right? Okay. So yeah, it's baffling that they don't have.
I mean, like Graham says, the highlights are crap. I was trying to keep an eye on some of the games because obviously you can't watch them, and the highlights give you no sense of the game whatsoever.
No.
Like there's 90 seconds for bloody an 8-0 Birmingham City win, and it's literally because they have to fit the goals in. It's one save from Chatham, and then 8 goals, and you're like, that doesn't represent what everyone said actually happened in the game
at all. No, it doesn't. And that's not what highlights reel is meant to be about. It's meant to show the whole picture, isn't it? If done properly, of course. But yeah, because Danny, this London City game, it was a strange one because Spurs went ahead, didn't they? And then, I mean, Van der Donk thinks it was very good.
Like Spurs were pretty much bossing the first half. And you thought, oh, they're going to stroll away with it again and score a few goals. And I won't mention what happened last week, but to do a similar kind of thing as that. But then, Van der Donk came on. I think Corrales came on as well at the same time. And suddenly, within about 2 minutes, they're 2-1 up. Like Van der Donk scores, Jana Fernandez scores a lovely goal, and suddenly they're in control. And everything just flipped, and suddenly it's Tottenham chasing the game, and it becomes a really exciting cup tie after that. And literally the last kick of the game when they got the penalty to equalise, Beth England stepping up and doing what she does. As soon as she kicked it, and it's gone in the net. As soon as it had gone in the net, the whistle went, and it was extra time.
Yeah, because it was almost like Tia Goldie rolled it down her arm, didn't she?
Yeah. Yeah, it was lovely. I was willing Tottenham on. We want Martin Ho to destroy the Kang. The Kang was there, by the way, in attendance.
Did you? There was a picture. I think our Kluber sent a picture to us, and it was Michelle Kang sitting, and the shadow was half over her face. So she's got Bond
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't until the second half that they spotted us. I don't know if she just appeared out of nowhere, but it was like, and Kang is here.
Yeah.
It might have been at 1-0 down. They might have
That's
brought
your
her out.
game. I am here.
Yeah, just to stare into the ether, just to scare them all.
I mean, if I'm London City Lionesses players, I'm checking for large men in wraparound sunglasses on the way back to the car park.
Well, because then it went to penalties, didn't it? And
yeah, that was fun. Yeah,
the longest penalty shootout ever.
Yeah, 9-8, I think it was. I've got to shout
9-8,
out
yeah.
Koga as well. I don't know if you saw this after she scored. She did a lovely little dance after a penalty. I think it was Koga who did it. And then they were all kind of doing the same when they got back to the centre circle. And, so that was fun. And then
was it Toki Koga who took 6 weeks to set a penalty up and was like the
so.
calmest, slowest?
Yeah. And then I think didn't Tinker Tamberg jump into the crowd afterwards as well? It was great, lovely scenes. You got to admire it. I said before this game as well. I think I put something out on the Blue Sky that saying, "Oh no, I bet London City and Tottenham can't wait for this game, and I really hope that they get a draw that's going to be positive going into this game." I was really hoping the draw takes place at 7. They get a nice home game. They get a real incentive to go and win this game. Out comes Chelsea away in the quarterfinal, the winner. So I was like, well, that's that done then.
I mean, at least it wasn't Charlton. There's been theories about the smaller teams and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So at least this draw kind of scotched that a bit because there were actually some tough games in there.
Yeah, we wanted City Chelsea, though, didn't we, to come out? Really.
Are you looking forward to the third game in the season where Kira Walsh scores against you?
It's just Kira Walsh. I think 4 goals. I think
that could be a good one. Yeah, I'm about to say Kira Walsh's level of hating Tottenham is inspirational. Actually, it's the level of hater I aspire to be.
Can we just say as well, in the chat while we're talking about Spurs, Katinka Tamberg is Queen Shithouse, in the best possible way.
She's brilliant.
She is an absolute.
Do it to London City, makes it even better.
There we go. People's messages coming through now. Yes, lovely stuff. So yes, thank you for everyone on X. Yes, Uncle Tony, I can see you now. Thank you very much. I'll come back to that comment. Yeah, Chris in there. So TNT Sports have bought the rights to the FA Cup. BBC have only got 2 games at least. Women's yeah. And then of course the one that was on Channel 4 was the Liverpool Everton game as well. Graham agrees with you there. Don't even get me started on the Women's FA Cup YouTube channel. 90 seconds worth on each game with awful sound clipping. Yes, I also agree with that one. Yeah, Graham spotted Beth England at the Charlton match, so took a sneaky picture. So new best mates, and Tony is a fellow Chelsea fan. The only time I wanted Spurs to win. Yeah, as you said, Paul, massive share house there. Great. Well, is it random if Arsenal, Chelsea, and City avoid each other again? Well, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the draws. Don't you worry. But of course, Spurs did go through because Kopp saved Sangare's penalty to send them through. So Kopp was the hero at the end of the day there. So yes, only want to go to penalties. Paul, were there any games there for you that you caught this week?
The Merseyside derby obviously is one to talk about because
talk to us about that one, because 2-1 I think really flatters Everton, because I think Liverpool could have easily had 3, 4, even 5.
I'm going to have to.
What did you make of it?
I'm going to have to grit my teeth now. Gareth Taylor's doing quite well all of a sudden. And the January transfer window does appear to really have given Liverpool a boost. You know how you have some teams who go in January and strengthen, and it doesn't really do much. With Liverpool, it's really made things jump, and it's really made things help. And once again, I'm going back through to refresh my memory on the scores, and for some reason, Google won't actually have any match info, so you then have to go.
Then you got to go on BBC, then you got to find the date,
and then you've got to find the date and the game. So now we found it. Mia Enderby scored and then got stretched off, which was
yes. So we are wishing her well, because I don't think we've had any updates from the Liverpool camp, have we?
She was really starting to find some form.
Yes, very much.
And it was in the act of scoring the goal. It was your classic heroic, almost football movie, Ted Lasso style thing where she went for a cross at the back post with Brosnan, and unfortunately didn't stop, and went straight into a goalpost at speed, which
clattered straight into it. Yeah, and you just felt it, didn't you? As soon as she went into it, you just like, oh, no.
It looks horrific because people. It's always fun. It's always fun. People who even people who play football think, oh, but those goalposts aren't that hard. They're hollow, they give and all that sort of thing. It's like, no, they don't. No, they don't.
No.
They're meant to give a bit, but it's one of those things where there's a reason rugby goalposts have pads on them. And it's one of those things where you think there's got to be a way to do it, because we're seeing more and more issues where players are colliding with posts, and it's going to keep happening. And
yes,
you're reminded with things like Enderby where you go,
yeah,
maybe we should protect the players a little more. But that was that. Beata Olsen came on, who our friend Emily in the chat is a big fan of. And Beata Olsen doing Beata Olsen things. She scored just before half-time. So Liverpool went in 2-0 at half-time. And were good value for it. And then they made it interesting for themselves with what officially went down as a Jennifer Falk own goal.
Yes.
Which
it was
a little harsh on.
I think that is a bit harsh, because it went under her elbow, didn't it? Was it elbow or side? And she went down to collect it.
Is it the one that it hit the post and bounced back off the post and then hit her, didn't it? I think was what happened from Garley's shot.
Yes. It's one of those where you can't give that as an own goal when the goalkeeper has literally no control over it whatsoever. Can't even react.
Yeah.
There's no intent to play the ball or anything. She's just trying to,
she's just existing.
Yeah,
I do think this is a thing as well, because we see it in the men's game as well, where players are robbed of goals because they'll shoot and it'll hit the post and back off a goalie, and everyone goes, "Oh, that's a horrific goalkeeping error." It's like, how? What are you supposed to do? That's it's Breaking Bad football edition. Yeah, physics, bitch. But like, there's your noughties reference. But it's a pleasure, Tony. This is what I mean. Tony's point about pronouncing Olsen's name right. This is the point. Like, it's there. It's easy to look up if you have the slightest knowledge of how Nordic languages or a lot of Germanic languages work. You know that EA together, a lot of the time in names or things, will be 2 syllables, not one. And even if not, there's so much. There's presumably Liverpool do pronunciation guys. There's all sorts of stuff. And it's not even as if Beata Olsen is one of the hardest names, even on the Liverpool team. Never mind in the WSL. So
it's that English thing, isn't it, of seeing BEAT and going, that says beat.
Beater Olsen.
Beater Olsen. Go on.
Usually that means there's an alpha and a gamma and.
I do quite like this though. Beata Golson. I like it.
Slight handball, got to say, for that goal, by the way. If there was VAR, I think that would have been given as handball.
Wow.
Also, a massive shout out to Denise O'Sullivan, who apparently is an Irish Spartan. Like her approach to midfield play appears to be, I'm going home with a shield or on it. Like, if I have to be carried off, it's worth it. Like, just so she will be interesting. And yeah, this is the thing as well. Beata is Beatrice. You know, the names fit. If you look at it and even think about it for a second. Admittedly, there's a slight thing because sometimes, like, you have Grace Guillaume, which, you know, in French is pronounced glass, but again, that's half a second of being able to speak any language in English.
You have Mark Skinner that's pronounced twat as well. We passed 9 o'clock, am I right? Yeah, just about.
Yeah, 10 past, yeah.
Put that one for socials. Job done.
I just
That's your TikTok clip.
You stay very calm.
I do say one thing I always do admire of Gareth Taylor in any job that he's in is his ability to take a random player and turn them into a winger. The latest one is Kerry Holland. And randomly out of nowhere has just turned her into, just decided, yeah, you're playing on the wing. Previously at Manchester City was he kept putting Laura Coombs on the wing. And then no put me over a winger. And in Kerry Holland's case, she actually has the attributes for it. So I do sort of understand it. In the case of putting Laura Coombs out there, it was just like one of those, what on earth are you doing? I will also say that Laura Coombs also, I think, and again, so moving on to one of the other fixtures, Laura Coombs is probably top of my list of players who you could see subbed on in an FA Cup tie and would then score in added time. She is top of that. Like every single, like, you know, if you, along with the likes of, I put Drew Spence in that equation as well, as another similar name, and Stina Blackstenius, players that you could see subbed on in like the 80th minute, and in, you know, 90 add 2, you just see them popping up, putting the gloss on a 3-0 or 4-0 scoreline. They're not scoring. And I really like Laura Coombs. I think she's been a phenomenal pro. And I think a lot of people forget with someone like Laura Coombs that, like, she's very much one of the, and I hate using this phrase again, but one of the original WSL players, in that she had a really established career at a lot of top WSL clubs. And nowadays people just say, oh, you know, she appears occasionally in Manchester City. There's a reason why Manchester City still keep her around. It's not as if she's just there, you know, just to cheerlead. Clearly, and you know, multiple managers and multiple clubs have thought, yeah, you're worth having in the squad. Clearly, it's the sort of player that you need. But she always strikes me as that person, you know, that, because I saw it in the weekend, and I think it was when I saw the full City goal, and I just saw it on there. I was like, yeah, that just tracks. It just makes absolute sense for some reason. You didn't expect anyone else to be scoring it when you saw 90th minute, and I was like, yeah, it was definitely Laura Coombs late on. It was probably inside the box. She probably slotted home neatly from a cutback, and it just worked. And it happens every single tie in the FA Cup. Happens every single round.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, and it's those players that you can rely upon. And as Uncle Tony said, she's a Barclays.
She's one of those players who comes on and you're like, oh yeah, her. And that sounds
in a good
really
way.
bad. But like,
because you're like, yeah, she's still here. She can do a job. I really like Laura Coombs.
But then there are a whole bunch of players who are younger players who are already in the, oh yeah, her stage. Lucy Watson, for example, is one of those. Oh yeah, her the past couple of years, because she broke through with Sheffield United, went to Chelsea, suffered injury issues, and now she's back again, and she's still only 23 probably. And then you know, there are so many players in the women's league. I saw something the other day. People were losing their minds over Gianluigi Donnarumma in the men's game, only being 27, because people are like, oh, it feels like he's been around forever. And it's like, oh, you would lose your mind at the women's game. You really
Well, I was saying this to Chloe Bear last night. Alana Kennedy is a year and a half younger than me. How? I swear Alana Kennedy's, again, been around for so long because you're so used to seeing her. And I was like, how are you younger than me?
I mean, she probably had a couple of years taken off her life by Moira Ramirez that time, to be honest. when she got absolutely left on the floor and out-muscled, and that's when you start looking.
Yeah. Yeah, Kennedy hasn't been very lucky with her injuries, has she? Her and her nose, bless her. It's always her nose.
She also seems to be one of those players. We were talking about Laura Coombs always turning up. There are certain players who always seem to be on the wrong end of highlights. Like they'll be the goalkeeper to get absolute thunder bastard scored past them, or they'll be the defender who gets flattened by or gets left on her backside by a great turn or something. Or the fullback who Olivia Smith or Sandy Baltimore has destroyed for the 5th time that game and finally managed to make a goal out of. And you're just like, how do they're like the people who are always in the pictures of like Michael Jordan's famous dunks, the ones underneath it,
watching on. And
I think my favourite one in terms of just being so bad is the fact that Erin Cuthbert is only about 3 months older than Jessie Fleming. Is 3 months old, 3 months older than Jessie Fleming, and because I remember when Fleming came to Chelsea, it was like, oh, she's really young, and I was like, are you sure? She looks really young, and I was like, oh, she's 20, she's 20, she's 23 already. You do it just because she looks young, it doesn't automatically. It's not some sort of Benjamin Button thing. She's not getting younger as time passes.
Well, that's the thing. You've just got it in your head with some players. It's a bit like when like your friend's sisters or something, and they're suddenly 23, and you're like, "You're 5. What are you talking about? Like, how has time passed in that space?" But yeah, Jessie Fleming again is one of those where I never know how old she is because she just always seems to be around. But actually, going on from your point there, Paul, about unfortunately people being on the wrong end of highlight reels, should we go to West Ham Brighton? Because poor Shemek was on the end of a corker, wasn't she, for that opening goal? However, lovely to see Frank Kirby. Always
lovely to see her. Yeah.
Lovely to see her back scoring again.
The one person you don't want to be started to dawdle around, isn't there? Frank Kirby. If you see her running towards you, get the ball out.
Just boost it. Just kick it. None of this playing fancy. None of this, trying to
that is one of the scourges of modern football, the fact that every team thinks they can play out from the back.
Like, I hate it.
Fuck off. We all sound like we're yelling at clouds here, don't we?
Woke nonsense. That's what it is. Get it
all
up
playing centre backs.
4-4-2. Second goal was lovely though, I thought as well. Kirby was assisting that one, and that was a beautiful goal.
That was a beautiful goal. Yes. Yeah, it just feels like West Ham they had a bit of momentum, didn't they? And then they've kind of gone again, and they just can't seem to find a good run of form. But they had more shots than Brighton, more on target than Brighton, more possession, and it just shows you that stats actually mean nothing if you can't get the ball in the back of the net.
Say Enrico Wecchi as well.
Yeah.
Rico Wecchi feels like he needs another mid-table team.
Maybe see that move.
I can't. I just can't get why, in Shemek's case, why Shemek tried it again and keeps trying to play it from the back, because she did exactly the same against Chelsea in the league and decided to try and do it with Lauren James pressing you and thought now's a good time to try and do a Cruyff turn, and then booted it through as Lauren James. And then a couple of weeks later, you're seeing Frank Kirby and thinking, you know what, I can take you on. Like, okay, if it was, I'm notorious. I'm known for not liking playing out from the back. I am very much one that will like your goalkeeper is there to keep it out of the net and just wallop it long and forward. I get even though Hannah Hampton's fantastic at it, I still get annoyed and nervous when she's got the ball at her feet and is pinging it out to the wide areas, just because that's not what you're there to do. Don't try and be a passing footballer. You're not Kira Walsh. But I don't understand. And again, it is if you every single week there'll be at least one WSL goals conceded by any team that's a result of it going back to the goalkeeper, effing up a pass, and then a team getting an easy tap in, and people saying, "Oh, what a great press it was." No, it wasn't a great press. It was stupid. It was more, and the same in the Premier League. Like again, I have a bit of a running tally on it in the Premier League because I'm so sad of it this season. Of the Premier League, how many goals this season in the Premier League do you think, percentage-wise, have come from a goalkeeper either directly giving the ball away or a centre-back directly giving the ball away?
I'm going to go 20, 1 in 5. 20%.
Right, higher than 20.
40.
Someone get Bruce.
Not quite full. 32%. 32% of all the goals this season.
Oh,
So roughly one in three has come from your team decided to do that. You don't all need to be, Manuel Neuer or Hannah Hampton or whatever. Just boot it, just clear it. And a lot of you aren't good enough to be centre backs and play the ball either. Honestly, exactly that. Put your foot through it.
What you need your classic Sunday League shout, or the one that you used to hear in like lower league games, of which is a Coventry City fan. I've watched a few, where the ball comes in and you just hear this person, the centre back, who's just nominated to scream "Away!" really, really loudly.
Exactly.
they just need it.
Courtney Brosnan, they need to nominate one player on every WSL team. Who do we think would be the person who just shout "Away!" It'd be Courtney Brosnan for Everton, wouldn't it? Without question.
Oh, Courtney Brosnan. Shout out to Courtney Brosnan in that Liverpool game though, because she was incredible. Because that scoreline could have been so much higher if she wasn't as incredible as she is.
Someone also tell Nessie how to fix the chat, because she's on Twitter asking how to fix the chat. Because she wants to
go through X. Yeah, I was going to say, Paul, you replied to our essay and said, come join us, but on X. So, yes, just if you have joined us recently, YouTube chat is broken. If you go through X and watch it that way, then that's where everyone else is.
Oh, is that right?
Phil Neville's getting some tweets tonight, which is nice.
Hey.
He'll be loving Googling his name
Phil
tonight.
Neville will never have a team playing out from the back.
Phil Neville would never have a team playing football.
No.
But I'm trying. But it's when you see teams like Chatham try and play out from the back, though.
Oh, that made us really sad, Dawn. Well, let's go to that one. So that was Birmingham City 8, Chatham Town.
We'll gloss over the actual score because that's what was expected, and it was quite funny. Keith Boannis' post-game interview was quite funny because he was like, he was asked about the score afterwards, and he was like, well, what's the difference in level? And he just casually goes, as a man in his 50s, 60s, just looks at the camera, half grins, and goes, well, it'd be like me doing 100 meters against Usain Bolt.
Like by the end of it, you're feeling really, because it was only like 1-0 at half time, and none of us never thought it would happen a quarter final for Chatham, but only 1-0 at half time for them to finish up 8 is quite the thing, isn't it? But
well, that's the thing. So for this one, I thought, right, I don't have TNT. What can I do? It was on the radio. So I listened to it on the radio, and it was really nice. So it was weird. I was live tweeting it on my channel, listening to the radio and doing it that way. Because you're right, it was only 1-0 at half time. Chatham put on a really good performance. And I just think if anyone just was looking through the scores and went, 8-0, yeah, outclassed, whatever. That it wasn't until when that second goal went in, you saw the fatigue and you saw the lack of depth.
That's when all the legs start to hurt.
And that's when the mistakes were made, and that's when playing out from the back. It was, was it Jeffkins? I think it was Jeffkins. Brilliant surname, by the way. She just had the ball at her feet, took it from the goalkeeper, Elegon, and just was like, yeah, I can do this. And then, as Danny's topical tag, Oceane Ertre just went, I'll have that. Thanks very much. Yeah. Just ran onto it and took it off her. Because you just, unless you really see it, people go, oh yeah, there's a gap of 2 leagues, whatever. But you need to watch it and you need to realise 2 leagues is massive anyway, but the difference in reaction times, in speeds, in just the whole process.
You could say Ella went. Like, that was just... But then you look at the fact that you've got people who are like veterinary technicians and work in hair salons and work in, middle management stuff, doing stuff, taking on people who've played for the USA at the World Cup. And
that was a brilliant thing about the radio commentary, because it was, I can't remember their names, but it was your typical match commentator, and they had a Chatham Town reporter as well with them, who knew the team inside out. And every time Birmingham City made a substitution, he was like, "Oh, is this another international coming on?"
Yeah, like, yeah.
So the whole time he was just so light-hearted about it, and he was like, "You know what? The girls can keep their heads held high. They've put in such a shift tonight, getting this far. They never expected it, and what a way to go out, really."
We should point out, by the way, the ridiculousness that BBC Radio Kent in the southeast happily provided coverage of fifth-tier Chatham Town, who, by the way, in Kent you've got Gillingham and Maidstone as well, who are the men's teams, if you like, which admittedly relatively low tier, but still big enough. Kent's a fairly populous big county, and this is a bit of a soapbox for me because working at BBC CWR and WM, and there's a few changes being made. They've got a Total Sports, so I'm kind of hoping I can nudge them. The weekday shows are basically now going across most of the West Midlands, but BBC WM doesn't talk about Aston Villa or Wolves or Birmingham City or Leicester. There was no BBC WM coverage of Birmingham City women in the fifth round of the final. And Villa don't get much mention because of all the men's teams. And you sat there like, these are top tier teams. We're talking about wanting to grow the game.
Yeah.
And admittedly, BBC budgets are being cut, but they're throwing money at the WSL, the big teams. And BBC London throw money at it. So why are BBC Manchester not throwing it at City and United? Why are...
Yeah, there's so many opportunities, like you said, to cover it more on the radio, because it is... people want to get involved and they want to watch and they want to interact with this content as much as they can. So yeah, make it accessible.
Can I also just make one other point on this from the TV deal point of view? The TV deal included elements of blocking like certain radio broadcasts of games, because this was why in the previous round Chelsea asked if they could do an internal radio broadcast of the game and were told no, because of the fact there's also the overall partnership with things like Sky for Premier League coverage, and if that's then being broadcast on the radio, you're not allowed to have consecutive broadcasts of things from different competitions, which again is utterly bonkers. Because with the greatest of respect in the world, I think the tea time kickoff in the Premier League was someone versus West Ham versus Bournemouth. With the greatest respect in the world, I don't think there's much of a, if you draw the Venn diagram out, I don't think there's much of a correlation between people that were interested in what was going on in Birmingham City women versus Chatham Town women versus those that were really interested in Bournemouth versus West Ham and thought, oh no, what a problem, I can't get both of them. And the same as the previous round. Yeah, well, there you go. You have one of them on the radio and one of them on TV. It's not as if you couldn't watch both of them if you wanted to. But yeah, ridiculous that it was blocked.
No, it is. You're right. Because if it was, two Manchester derbies, fair enough. Because odds are, if you support one in the men's team, you support the women's team, and vice versa. But you're absolutely right. There is hardly any crossover between those teams, and I think that's where, yes, you can have obviously your broadcasting deal to protect your revenue or whatever, but it should be down to, let's look at this properly, shall we? And how are we going to grow the game when actually the people who are tuning in on a Saturday afternoon want to know this Birmingham City score rather than anything else. So yeah, it was great that BBC Kent did it. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but yeah, just bizarre that none of the others even.
I mean, it's stupid. It is stupid with games in general because the budgets are ridiculous. Because Rugby Borough, who are the only team in the CWR region, get talked about once every other week because they literally get part of the non-league football show. There are so many non-league teams. But there are changes. There are changes now where Wednesday night is a 4-hour show, and it's like, okay, well, if you're across the whole region, talk about the football teams in those regions.
Well, that would make sense, wouldn't it? maybe not. But yeah, just to kind of wrap up that Chatham Town talk. Simone Elegon, goalkeeper, incredible. 9 crucial saves. It could have been so much worse if she wasn't on it. So just wanted to massive shout out.
I wanted to mention Keith Bowanis, the manager, after the game as well. He's talking to one of the Kent newspapers, I think, and he was like, "Oh, I just love the way he put it. It was like, I wrote them all a long letter after the game to say, just to point out some of the errors, but to say you did a really good job, that kind of thing." And they all put a little heart on it. I just love the fact he called it a letter. It's like a WhatsApp message.
I love that. I do. I really do. Apologies if anyone hearing any snoring, by the way. The dog has fallen asleep on my foot.
Oh.
So, he's clearly not.
I mean, we are in danger of doing that with the FA Cup. Because, the magic is once again being eased out. And let's face it.
It's been extinguished a bit.
It is probably going to be pick one of 3 from Chelsea, Arsenal and Man City in the final against whoever else.
Well, I've got hopes for Charlton. Charlton are my one. That they're going to make it through. And I know Graham would agree with us.
Yeah, Amy Merricks was saying the same thing about Birmingham as well. And she was saying, I want to go all the way. It's like, well, yeah, go on. Go on, Amy.
Go on, Amy.
It will be interesting, I think, because I did say this to someone. A lot of especially in the men's FA Cup, I think one of the main reasons you get so much jeopardy in the men's FA Cup is the nature of going away to, the stadiums and the fact it's the local town, everyone gets up for it. I don't think we quite have that at the moment in the women's FA Cup enough. Like, especially, I know the gulf is there in quality, and let's face it, the gulf between, WSL 2 to the WSL is big, and the gulf from WSL 2 downwards is big. There's a huge gulf if you're talking about teams from further down and below the pyramid. But I do think you just don't get it you don't get the same level of jeopardy. Like, I don't think you'd ever, at the moment, and I think this is ultimately something that's just happening when it grows.
Yeah.
Something like, for instance, if a WSL team, even if it was one of the lesser WSL teams, like, let's say West Ham, for instance, drew, a team from the third tier away, I still think they'd probably go ahead and win it quite comfortably. What I do think will be interesting is a team like Birmingham, where they've had the resources, they've got Amy Merricks in charge, who I think is a very good manager, and ultimately, okay, their priority is promotion, but I think they probably will end up doing that anyway. They've now got City coming to their patch. City themselves have been very, very good this season, have had the benefit of being able to have additional rest, but there's no reason they shouldn't absolutely try and have a go. And I do think that sometimes, and I'm not Chatham, Birmingham notwithstanding, because at the end of the day, the gulf is, you have to be realistic about the gulf. It's not, for every time you get like a Macclesfield versus Crystal Palace result in the men's FA Cup, you get a million other results that go the way that you expected. But I do think for someone like Birmingham, there's no excuse for them not to go for it. And also, conversely, I'd actually say for Brighton now, Brighton are safe in the WSL. They're not getting relegated. They're not going to get into Europe. They've got a squad where their first 11 is strong enough to give everyone a game. There is no reason they can't give Chelsea, they can't give Arsenal a good game. And in Tottenham's case, I think Tottenham still have a chance of getting into Europe, but I think it's unlikely. They're not going to get relegated. They should put every egg in the FA Cup basket now. They're in the situation. Liverpool, I mean, they don't really want to finish bottom. Like, the Liverpool-Charlton fixture, I think, is really fascinating in the next round, because Charlton, I think, they're top of WSL 2. They're on a roll. And, it'll be fascinating to see how much that gulf actually is there, because Liverpool, although they had a very good result in that Merseyside derby, they've struggled at times this season. They've had injury issues. There is, that element of it. Are players going to be up for it? Whereas they've now got to go away to Charlton. It's going to be a tough place to go. I imagine they're going to play it at the Valley. I imagine they'll get a good crowd in for it. That's the sort of situation you look at and thinking, yeah, there's a chance of, them turning them over here.
I really hope so, because Charlton, as Graham will rightly say, even the result of the weekend, even though that was, just a 1-0, Oxford put out a really good account of themselves and really, really tried to frustrate Charlton, and they did. The only difference there was a penalty and a subsequent red card for the Oxford United player. But I did just want to read out what Graham sent me as our Charlton reporter. He said, much tighter game than I thought it was going to be. Charlton had the better of the chances, but Oxford certainly weren't rolling over either. And Emma Thompson, not that one, had a really good chance in the first half for Oxford. He then went on to say, it was a professional job done, into the quarters we go. Because again, a bit like Chelsea, Charlton, Chelsea, like that. Get the job done, get the points, get to the next round. But yeah, Oxford gave a good account. Tricky conditions, windy, wet, 3G pitch as well, that helped them out in their favour, but they just lacked that quality in the final third, as we can see from the scoreline. Decided being a penalty, well taken by Lucy Fitzgerald in the 76th minute, and it was Palmer who got the red card for a handball. So yeah, I think Charlton, the passion they've got and the strengths that they've got, I genuinely think they will give Liverpool a really, really good run for their money.
I'm really excited for that game. I think might be the tie of the round, that one.
Yeah, because again, there's still questions over who can win it. Who can really go for it. So yeah, Charlton, incredible to get through. And of course now the lowest, right? Well, they're not. Yeah, lowest ranked side still left in the competition. So I think, with
Birmingham technically, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yourself too. Not too bad at all. But yeah, I think we're all going to be supporting them in the next round.
We all love the lowest ranked team left in the competition, don't we?
We do. It's always the one, and you always start off with it, and then they get knocked out, and you're like, oh, damn it.
Yeah.
It's always depressing when it's the top 5 teams in the WSL, though.
Yeah, the lowest ranked team.
When you read those books of some football influencer goes, I'm going to go to one round of every game in the FA Cup, and I'm going to start at arse end of nowhere Wanderers in the extra.
Oh yeah, watch them this weekend. Yeah.
And then from there, I'm going to go to whatever game the winner plays, and it goes through, and it starts with a tour of absolute shite grounds in the arse end of nowhere. And teams with weird names like Prescott Cables, and then halfway through the book, every game is a Premier League ground, and you're just like, this is boring now.
Yeah,
I was more interested about finding about the matches where the tea ladies were there since 1956.
Yeah, we want to see the tin sheds. We want to.
Yeah.
I want to see all these.
I remember. I can't remember what game it was, but there was an FA Cup third round. And I was like, I love watching the FA Cup first and second round because of shit grounds on BBC. And there was one that had the chip shop stand behind the goal. And I'm like, sorry, there is nothing more early rounds of the FA Cup than live TV having some fucking ground with the chip shop stand.
Yeah. One of my favourite non-league grounds near us is the Dog and Duck at Wellingborough. It's what a name for a ground.
I love the one. I was looking for local teams because a few weeks ago, my nearest club anywhere in the top 4 tiers was like an hour and a half away. So I was looking, and the directions for one of them was, when you come to the pub, turn right, and it's down the little path. Keep going, and you'll see it.
When you reach the hanging tree, take a right. Speak to the innkeeper and give him 3 shillings.
You will roll the dice 3 times.
Well, Trace, don't go Camborne Wednesdays. Turn round.
Just like the hands in the labyrinth, up or down.
When you made that noise, Paul, I thought Sheffield United were on the attack. I was like, oh no.
When you turn round, you go to places and it's like bloody George Dawes and Shooting Stars in the shop. You go in there, Doris, take the cream cake out your arse. Our children must eat. And you're like, that's a proper old FA Cup game. I don't know where I'm going with this. I think this is absolute derangement because it's the last few minutes of the Coventry City game and they're 2-1 up. But
You'll say the chaos is chaosing. But yeah, Graham said, I'd also argue we have the best home ground for the quarterfinals as well. Well, of course, I mean, the Valley is a very good ground. I do agree with you there, Graham. Right, only a couple more. Again, no real shocks here. Arsenal 3-0 over Bristol City. I did star this one because this did make us laugh. One of the Arsenal fans tried to stream the game on Facebook Live. Did we see this?
Yeah.
And
were they
apparently,
in the stand
staff
along the side,
founder.
or were they behind? Or were they behind the goal?
No,
Where
they were
fans
in on one of the longer sides, the seated bit at Meadow Park. And apparently the stewards found her through the
She should have
I love
taken
the
off
idea.
with them and
I
just
love the idea of
in the
Google
dock.
Maps. Full like CSI zoom enhance. We can tell by the shadows she's on the third row.
Well, they found it through the stream, I think. And they were like, right, she must be
Yeah,
sitting there.
I mean, firstly, I want to say two things to this. Number one, I think it came to my mum when I read this was, you know, the old when you used to have the DVDs and you used to have the anti-piracy advert beforehand. You wouldn't stream a match from the stadium. I'm surprised that hasn't been made yet. But the other one was, shout out to the absolutely fantastically, they affectionately nicknamed South Stand Sluts at Kings Meadow, who were responsible for streaming it last time. In that last time, they just started streaming it. If one of them got told to do it, the other one just started streaming it. And you actually ended up with 5 different versions of it, each with wildly interesting different variants of commentary, because some of them take it more seriously than others, I think is the polite way to sort of put it. But it is a bit of a farce. I will be on a more serious note. It is an absolute farce we're getting to this point in the competition. Like, if you look at the men's equivalent for the 5th round, because obviously that's now coming up in the next couple of weeks. I think every single game is on TNT or on Sky or on places, and the Cov have just won. It's sort of it's sort of ridiculous. I think that we got the same situation. You know, we're talking about fans streaming the matches. Like, if it was the early rounds and it was, you know, the 3rd, qualifying round, I'd understand it. But by this point, surely to God, there could have been some sort of deal where, even if it was clubs themselves, it was up to them, because at least then if they didn't do it, you could go to your own club and say, what the F are you playing at? Just being blocked from doing it. And I spoke quite honestly to Chelsea before the previous round tie, and I said, like, why are we not streaming this? I want to know the answer. And they actually sent me the full exchange they had with the WSL and with the FA over it. And it was honestly, it's the sort of thing that it could have appeared in the thick of it, because it was so bureaucratic and so unwieldy and so unnecessary. And you were just sat there thinking you'd start a new sentence and you'd be banging your head on the wall and thinking, surely some common sense is eventually going to break out. And my favourite bit of it was, I think they were talking about the London City Lionesses Sunderland game, and they said, we don't want to have, an audience potentially detracted from that again. Again, if we draw the Venn diagram out, for example, for Manchester United versus Burnley and Sunderland versus London City Lionesses, there's not much crossover in the Venn diagram from people who want to watch both of them. It's not as if you're taking away the audience from something vitally important here. I actually made it a principal point, because I'd heard this stupid story. I made it a principal point not to watch Sunderland versus London City Lionesses, partly to prove a point, partly because I don't like London City Lionesses. But it worked both ways. But I couldn't believe that their argument was, we don't want to detract from an audience. And then I put it out to them. I went back to them and said, well, what about the game later on in the day that doesn't actually collide with it? And then that was the reason why Tottenham were able to stream their game, because they were in that magic window where nothing collided with it. And they went back to them and said, can we stream at this point? And they said, well, technically you're not meant to. And Tottenham just said, we're going to do it anyway.
I'm just reeling from the fact there's a fan group in women's football called the South Stand Sluts, and nobody has lost their mind over it yet, given all the...
Well,
outstanding group, well worth, if you are a Chelsea fan, you want to join them, they are always accepting new members. Well worth some entertaining chants definitely down there, and some entertaining responses.
I'm just there like, sorry, if I posted on Twitter, I'm just imagining as a commentator, that's made the South Stand Sluts really happy. with no context.
Well, that's the thing. Context is everything.
I mean,
I will say, yeah, I will say that, you know, there are certain Chelsea players that are aware of the group and are aware of the name. So it's sort of the thing. It has, you know, through various exploits that their members have done, both good and bad. It has, you know, it has reached notoriety levels.
I'm mainly amused that Arsenal fans still proudly call themselves Gooners as well, because they clearly haven't done a search on the internet for Gooners for a while. But it doesn't mean football fans. So you've got Gooners and South Stand sluts in the WSL, but apparently it's a family sport.
No, and keep that family friendly.
Family friendly with Gooners, South Stand sluts, and up the arse. You know, it's like.
And on that note,
I just lost it when you said they're accepting new members. This just got me.
Do I need lipstick? Should I get out my posh frock? How's it going to work? Like,
yeah. What are the what do you need to do to be accepted? No, I think the difference there, of course, is that they're calling themselves that, and they are not being called that, which is why it's acceptable.
I cannot wait for football Twitter to discover that. Sorry, that'll make for a conversation and a half.
Well, it's already.
I'm pretty about to say I'm pretty sure a lot of people on football Twitter are aware of it. I'm afraid I think it's, you know, it's fairly common knowledge.
Yeah.
Wait, you mean everybody's been through?
Or you. Right.
Moving swiftly on. Can we just call out Graham as well, who asked if Rosie was a member of said fan group, which, as her colleague, I think is a bit much. I think she will.
Graham, coming from the realm of Rosie's a Chelsea fan, does she sit there? However, it sounds very much like he's calling Rosie something.
It's Bonnie Blue. No, anyway.
Moving swiftly on, I think.
Yes, please indeed. So Arsenal, so Kim Little, of course, Kim Little. Palova and Mornham with the goals there. Bristol City had the 5 shots, 3 on target, compared to Arsenal's 20 shots and 11 on target. So nothing too surprising there. Fairly one-way street. Who else have we not talked about? City Sheffield. Yeah, did anyone see City Sheffield? Again, pretty standard win for City. Sheffield, Amy Andrews nearly had a moment, didn't she? That would have been good to get one back. But this is this was a pronunciation that I wanted to talk to you through. So we talked about Iman Benet in the summer, didn't we? In the Euros. And then got excited when she came City. And I was watching the highlights, and when she assisted, so she assisted twice, didn't she? Lauren Hemp's first 2 goals, which, you know, incredible, linking up twice. This is when I had to rewind, because I was like, why is he saying Beanie? And I was like, Peony? I was like, flower. I was like, no, he's definitely saying Beanie. Yeah, Beanie.
Beanie.
Not Benet. Beanie.
Beanie.
Yeah.
Hey, Tony, what's Tony's beef with Northampton? He's just written Northampton in the chat, and I'm a bit worried.
Is this like Tony? Is this like a child-friendly BAFTA situation? Like,
what?
Just going on.
What is the hand movement there? That's concerning.
What, that hand movement? Oh,
yeah. Because your name was out in the name was in the way of you.
When Rob said comes to when I put my arms up and punch the ceiling, because it's a very low ceiling. So,
yes, you do punch quite often, don't you? But yeah, so Beanie assisted twice for the first 2 goals, and it was pretty.
Would it have been a Beanie hat trick? That's a lot cleaner than most of the jokes I've made. Come on, don't get annoyed with me for that one.
I think I was more annoyed. It took me quite long to understand what the joke was. but I understand it now. And yes,
of course, in Canada, being his surname is Toke. That's an even more obscure joke. But that would have worked exactly
jokes for everyone on this podcast. Jokes for everyone. So yeah, I mean, Man City 21 shots, 10 on target compared to 4 shots and 1 from Sheffield. I mean, Man City just thoroughly enjoying themselves, aren't they? Really?
Sheffield United, they would have just got in going right. Keep it tight. Keep it tight.
Yeah.
3-0 down after 20 minutes. Game done. Sorted.
Now, Tony said that no one's ever going to beat Chloe's comments last week. She says so many. What did she say last week again?
There was a big one last week.
It was the one where she said, "I'll plug what I like," which was that was clearly her audition to join the South Stand Sluts.
Jesus. I am going to need to go because my Wi-Fi is currently now deciding it doesn't like me. So it was a pleasure. I will have to try and see you again.
Yes,
cheers, guys. Thank you.
Bye, Rob. Thank you, mate. Bye.
We've scared him off.
With that, South Stand Sluts one too many times.
I genuinely can't get over that. With women's football being how it is, I genuinely can't get over how you haven't had Arsenal fans complaining and trying to cancel them for having a bit of fun for it or whatever.
No, but I think that's the thing. I think if you have the group and you've named it that to almost reclaim it and be like, yeah, that's who we are, then it's fine because it's not
I love the fact that Rob was very gently going, yes, their exploits are quite well known around Kings Meadow, and it's kind of like, oh, okay.
It's like we won't make it dirty. We won't
even ask.
We won't do it. But yes, but yeah, a pretty straightforward win for Man City as well. And I think is that everything? We talked about everything. Yes, I believe so. Any other comments or standout moments from either of you from the weekend from these games that we haven't mentioned yet?
No, I don't think so.
Sadly not, really.
Well, that's the thing, kind of had the key bits, and then that was it, really. But yeah, it was a good weekend of football. Some very good goals there, and more importantly, some really, really impressive performances from your Chatham Towns, from your Oxford Uniteds, who, you know, we talked about the prize money at this point as well, and that's such a chunk that they can then put back into the club and hopefully spur them on for next season as well. So congratulations to them. Quarterfinals have been confirmed. And they will be taking place on Sunday, the 5th of April. So we've already mentioned the Charlton-Liverpool game probably being the one to watch. But Arsenal have drawn Brighton, Birmingham City, Manchester City, and Chelsea Spurs as well. Yeah, do we think it's still Charlton-Liverpool is going to be the one to watch there?
Because that'll be a genuine WSL versus WSL2 standard marker.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a Chelsea team that are unbeaten in so long as well to test themselves against a team like Liverpool that are not heavyweight of the WSL, but one that you know they'll look at it and think we can go and beat them. And they're far enough up, they're far enough clear in the league as well to really go for it, aren't they? As well, like they're going to go up, I think. And,
so they're 8 points, I believe. 8 points clear at the top, Charlton.
Yeah. But that point, could be near enough confirmed that they're going up. So that'll be a huge, big occasion for Charlton.
Yes, indeed. Because, like you said, Liverpool are a team who usually should be like mid-table, shouldn't they? Mid to that bottom half. So yeah, this is a chance to be like, if we did go up, 9 points. Do apologise, sir. Do apologise. So yeah, they're a team that they could definitely be competing with if they got promoted. So no, that's going to be a really, really interesting one.
Got some predictions.
9-2, 6-0, 7-0, Chelsea 2-0.
Let's try some interesting predictions. I just hope both teams have fun. Like
Football's the winner. That's what we want.
Sports.
I have actually recently been on the football cliches Reddit, and it's amazing. And there's some of them, and it's just like, yeah, with this, it's well, it's a good day out for Charlton and Birmingham City and Brighton.
They've had a nice time.
They've had a lovely
bit
time.
like- I was going to say it's a bit like on game shows where it's like, but have you had a nice day?
Yeah.
When
I came with nothing. I went home with nothing.
We went on with nothing, but it's fine.
Had a nice cup of tea and I've come home again.
At least some. It's not like Bullseye, where some poor bugger from like Wolverhampton wins a speedboat. Just like,
I was going to say that Peter Kay sketch will always live in my mind. Of what you could have had, a speedboat. Where'd you live? Tamworth.
Yeah.
we live Wolverhampton. Get on the fucking canal.
Yeah, always made us laugh. But yeah, so if I was in the country, I'd hopefully be trying to go to Charlton, Liverpool. So yes, everyone, if
Which
you're free on
country are
Easter
you in?
Sunday, I'm going to Milan.
Ooh.
So for my birthday.
Nice.
So hopefully the game I should be at is Inter Lazio on the Saturday. Rather than the quarterfinals, unfortunately. But yes, if people are free Easter Sunday, if you're religious or not, and you can get to a game, hey, they're all there.
I do enjoy Easter Sunday. So one of my greatest commentary moments. Last minute goal for Katie Wilkinson for Coventry United to keep the Great Escape alive. And my line was, on Easter Sunday, Katie Wilkinson has performed another resurrection.
Nice.
Hey, very good.
Had to get that in. But other games that happened at the weekend, moving away from the FA Cup because it's boring at this point. I bet. I know we're not supposed to say that, but like those 4 games, like you said, everybody went right. Charlton, Liverpool is the one to watch, and all the rest are just kind of there.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, Birmingham City, I'm sure, will come out to try and win, but odds are Man City are probably going to be the ones come out on top.
But I did mention a couple of weeks ago and things to keep an eye on during the international break, or just before the international break. The SWPL,
Yes,
finished its regular season at the weekend. So it splits into a relegation round with the bottom 4 and a championship round with everybody else.
Yes,
Which is strange. But in the final game of the regular season, Rangers beat Montrose, which meant them go to second. Celtic versus Hearts in a top of the table clash, 5-3 to Celtic.
Oh, that's a good one.
Ding dong, that is.
It was a proper one. Saoirse Noonan, who
Yes.
long time viewers of the podcast remember playing for Durham,
Do we know? Yeah,
scoring twice.
very good.
So it was 2-0 at half time, and then it all went a bit mental because there were 6 goals in 45 minutes.
Wow.
Because it was 2-0. Then Shaw scored for Hearts to make it 2-1. Taro Hanlon, unknown from Man City, scoring for Celtic to make
Lots
it
of
3-1.
Lawneys up in the SWPL, yeah.
Morgan Cross, formerly of Coventry United, scoring to make it 4-1, I think. Yes, 4-1. And then, or was it 5-1? No, 5-1. I can't count. No, 4-1, Morgan Cross, because Saoirse Noonan's hat-trick was in the 72nd minute after Hearts had made it 4-2. And then it was 5-2, and then a last-minute goal for Hearts. But it was all a bit mental, to say the least. And
That sounds great.
speaking of the SWPL, I am surprised that the number of names looking at the Rangers squad and the Celtic squad who haven't got for WSL yet and probably should be, like Brogan Hay, for example, for Rangers, who would be very good for a table WSL team.
Yeah.
Saoirse Noonan as well could probably certainly do a job for a championship team. And, Eilidh Shaw, who scored for Hearts, could do a very good job as well. And you just look at it and go, why perhaps...
There's a lot of talent, yeah. Why?
Charlton to look next season, assuming all goes well for them this season.
No, that sounds good. So yeah, Graham, contact your contacts and look to the Highlands to see where the talent is going to come from in the summer. I do just want to say that Chatham Town as well, they're playing tonight and they're currently 5-0 up against Ashford. So
brilliant. The letter worked. The
Bounce
letter
back.
that you wrote
Yes.
worked.
Ashford getting the backlash. You know,
Yeah.
they'll expect the backlash.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Congratulations. They're still playing. They might get more. But I think they've only
Kathleen
got
McGovern, by the way, another one for Hibs, who could come and do a good job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Always in the goals. I always see her name popping up.
There's something you kind of look at and go, well, it would be nice. But Celtic's team is a lot of people who have kind of tried the English leagues and failed. Or not failed, but just kind of moved a bit.
Never really got going. Well, Graham's put our Karen showed in January she definitely likes a Scottish transfer, so who knows? That is true. Yes. She brought in a couple of players from the SWPL, didn't she? So yes. Who knows? Who knows in the summer where it might go? Now then, so FA Cup 5th round is over, and we'll look forward to those quarter-final ties. But we've got ages to wait for those. I guess we've got an international break coming up. It does feel like quite a long international break because there's been an FA Cup and then we go into the internationals. But for teams like mine who were not involved this weekend, it feels incredibly long. So if people have forgotten, England are in Group A3 along with Spain, Iceland and Ukraine. And we're going to have 2 matches this window. We're flying to Turkey to play in a neutral venue, of course, against Ukraine on Tuesday, the 3rd of March. So we'll be able to talk about that next week. And then on the 7th of March, on the Saturday, England host Iceland at the City Ground in Nottingham, which will be a nice change to Wembley. So yes, so I just wanted to run through, if people like, kind of the rules around qualification, because we get used to the Nations League and qualifying for the Euros or the World Cup or whatever, and then it changes again for the qualification.
I'm just going to point out I have got work at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Just with the way the rules.
No. I've clipped them. Look, I've highlighted.
29 point B.
29 point B subsection 4.
Oh, do you remember when we did that for the for who was going to go through
to get all the way down,
or something? But yeah, so essentially, all you need to know, and this is all on the website. If anyone is interested in the terms and conditions and all the little points, basically England need to finish as high as possible. We are in League A, so automatic qualification is possible. If we finish top of the group, with Spain in the group, it is going to be quite tricky. However, all will not be lost. So ideally, the winners of each League A group will gain automatic place in Brazil. Okay, so ideally, that's where England want to be. If we don't, however...
The dreaded word path.
The playoff. So the playoffs, if we don't, we can still qualify. All is not lost. So round 1, you can take 2 paths. Again, you roll a dice for path 1 or path 2. So essentially, path 1 are your teams finishing 2nd and 3rd in League A. So if Spain do get first, which they might, because they're Spain, and we do finish 2nd, this is probably where we're going to end up. So we'll play the 6 group winners and 2 best ranked runners up in League C. The teams from League A will be seeded and play the second legs at home, and the 8 winners will progress to round 2. If, for whatever reason, we are at the bottom of our group, the 4 fourth place League A teams and the 4 League B group winners will be drawn into 8 ties, and then the teams finishing 2nd and 3rd in the League B groups will go against them. So it's very much seeded where we place. So 1st or 2nd, they're pretty much our options of finishing for this one.
Yeah.
In round 2, so that's just round 1, remember. Round 2, the teams from both paths come together and will be drawn into 8 ties, seeding for the round 1 path 1 winners, blah, blah, blah. And then the 7 best ranked round 2 playoff winners will then directly qualify. The 1 remaining playoff winner in round 2 qualifies for the World Cup Interconfederation playoffs. So it goes on and on.
It's nonsense. It's absolute
utter bollocks.
Just play a qualifying group. If you win it, finish the first 2 places, you go through.
There are 32 bastard teams in this World Cup, and they still have to make it as complicated as possible.
You've qualified for Mystery Pass C.
Yeah.
Where you'll go underground and play Qatar over 2 legs.
God, Gianni, this is Gianni
But
Infantino.
first, answer the riddle set by a troll.
If you get it wrong, you will go under his bridge and never come out.
If the intercontinental playoffs are level after extra time, they just sit and guess which one is the closest to the average wing loading of an African swallow. Like,
That's actually on the next page, Paul. Yeah, well done.
And then they get and then being FIFA, they still fuck it up because one of them would recognise the reference and go loaded or unloaded. What? I don't know that. Like.
So yeah, we know they've got to cover all bases, but yeah, it does seem overly complicated, doesn't it?
Death by 1,000 playoff games, like
only if you don't come first or second. So yeah, the lower down that you finish, the worse it will be. Is pretty much how this sits.
What do points make?
Confusion.
Yeah, what's he doing? Like, you know, they're just there. At the end of it, they just have a conveyor belt with 30 items, and the one who has to name the most.
Yeah, it's but ultimately, we're not done yet.
Oh my god.
There's wherever you finish after these group games is now your promotion or relegation is at stake ahead of the next cycle for the Euros. But don't worry. I will make a lovely little coloured graphic like I did last time. So you don't have to worry about anything. So yes, promotion and relegation are still a thing. Aren't you so lucky? Now, yes. So, how do you think we're going to do against Ukraine and Iceland? Because Ukraine, we haven't seen much of, so that's more of a mystery, an unknown entity. Roll the dice on that one. Iceland, on the other hand, we know can be quite tricky and quite hard to score against from what we saw in the Euros. Yes, they didn't get going moving forward, but they're still a tricky opponent. But yeah, has anyone got any thoughts on upcoming internationales?
These are the 2 that we need to get wins in, isn't it? Really, let's face it.
Yeah,
we need to go and get wins and get goals against. I don't want to sort of put them down too much, these teams, because they are decent teams, especially Iceland. Like I say, they're a stubborn team, so it could be difficult to get a few against them, but they're a really good set. I think they're 16th in the world rankings. So they're no mean feat to play the Icelands. No. Ukraine at 34th at the moment, but I've had a decent run recently as well. So tricky games, but games we need to win and get the 6 points, get out of there, get out of town.
And funnily enough, you ask about Ukraine. I have been doing some research into the Ukrainian national women's team. So social media team, get your recording going for this one because we didn't look like we've looked it up. I mean, most of the squad is basically Vorskla Poltava, who are the best women's team in Ukraine. Okay. And they play in the Vyshylia, which is the top tier of the Ukrainian league. And the player to keep an eye out for, assuming she plays, is 32-year-old captain Olga Ovdoy. I'll get this right, sorry. I'm going to show after that first time. Olga Ovdichuk, who has over 100 caps and has scored 18 goals for the Ukraine. She plays in Turkey. And Ina Hushlenko, who is at the opposite end of the spectrum, age-wise, and plays for Lille in the French league. So it's worth keeping an eye out. Goalie wise, again, they're an interesting mix because they've got like proper experience. Like the starting goalie, for example, is Katarina Samson, who's 37, but the other two goalies are 22, and so you've got that gap. You've got that complete gap in experience. Olga Bashanska in defence is another player to keep an eye out for, who plays for Metalist Kharkiv. It's great fun saying these Ukrainian names, but the name that certainly most Western commentators might be most familiar with is Nicole Kozlova, who plays for Glasgow City. And has scored 21 goals in 32 games for Glasgow City.
Not bad.
But only 7 in 46 for the Ukraine. But she is definitely a player to keep an eye on. She was born in Canada, so she is Ukrainian-Canadian. And she will probably be the player that Ukraine keep an eye on and count on, just because she is probably played at the highest level of the Ukrainian team, because with all due respect to the Ukrainian Women's League, it's having all of its struggles at the moment because, Ukrainian footballers basically haven't been able to play very much at all in their domestic leagues for the past few years for obvious reasons.
Well, that's the thing, because Chris has just put there, Ukraine games we play in Turkey. Yeah, so it's a neutral because they can't obviously go and play in Ukraine with all the troubles going on there. So yes, Turkey has been chosen as a more of a neutral venue.
Poltava as well have hardly been able to play at home because they're based in Kharkiv, which is obviously a major city in Ukraine and part of a lot of fighting going on as well. And I worry about the Ukraine game because it should be a fairly, like Danny says, these are the ones you've got to get the points from, and it should be a fairly simple win. But we've seen with the Ukrainian men at international tournaments that they, because of the events in their home country, they have motivation way above anything that most of us can even probably conceive in terms of pulling on a Ukraine shirt and representing their country. And stuff like that worries me, because that's the kind of unknowable intangible, particularly if we have England players who either aren't really that bothered about being there or complaining about scheduling and thinking that this is one game too many for them and just trying to turn up and get through it.
Well, it was because in the press conference, what you're talking about, she was led that question, wasn't she?
She was.
About that. So I think it's important we have the context of those questions. But there's been issues with scheduling and stuff, but the issue being, of course, that they could have done 3 games in the window, but they haven't. They chose to do 2 to make sure they do get that rest and recovery. So
but then the conversation we need to have over it is the scheduling that Leah Williamson's complaining about only applies to like 3 teams. The Lionesses players are going to be complaining about scheduling, but the big issue that is being thrown around here basically applies to 20 players. Well, it's making sure it applies to everyone. So as much as it's not a lot of players, it's still for those players. It's still very congested. So they just need to find a schedule that fits, don't they? Where you look at it and go, well, maybe Leah, you could make a few more waves in your own club and tell them, actually, no, maybe we shouldn't be travelling to Australia after the end of the WSL season in a Euro year.
We don't know.
To have a thing and to make a few quid. And this is why this moves on to a wider conversation in women's football, where there are players who are fully activist. For example, Kirsten Kasperai is amazing. A lot of Wubben Moy has done a huge amount of stuff. Vivian Miedemar has spoken out a lot. And then you've got players who seem to kind of speak out, but it all seems a bit wishy-washy because do we really think the players would strike? Do we really think Leah Williamson would strike if Arsenal turned around to her and said, right, if you strike, no money? Do we really think that if there
don't
was
think it's as simple as that, because this is the same Leah Williamson who, if she was asked about the rainbow armband, she said she would wear it and she would get a suspension. So it's, I think it's a bit more complex than that one.
I'm a cynic because there are some players who are out there doing the work, like Kirsten Kasparov, and there are some players who talk a good game, but don't. But say a lot of stuff where it's kind of, oh, if this happened, we're almost knowing, yeah, but it wouldn't happen.
No, it's hard because you also don't know, are there people limiting what people can say? If there's a lot of contract deals and and I know business shouldn't come before standing up for rights and whatnot, but there might just be a lot more things in play with some players who are maybe seen as bigger characters, bigger influencers, because they've got more deals and sponsorships and business things and a lot more red tape, maybe. So yeah, just play devil's advocate.
But I also find it interesting because Leah Williamson is here talking about strikes and the scheduling and something should be done kind of thing. Whereas Viv Miedema just said, sorry, Netherlands, I'm not playing this international break. I need a rest.
Yeah.
And it's I get what you're saying, but there's a difference in level between saying stuff
and then doing it,
and then people who have the courage of convictions and will actually risk. Because Viv Miedema probably didn't know when she went to the Dutch FA and said, I can't play, I need to rest. Part of her would have wondered if the Dutch FA had turned around and gone, no, if you do this, you're not playing for us again.
Yeah, there's that fear, isn't there? Yeah, put yourself first.
But she went. She was one of the first players to do it. I mean, Leah Golden is one who, for the FA, who's got criticism from some sources because the number of words that have been written over the past few years about, could Leah Golden play for England? But she's taken herself out of it and said she doesn't want to represent England. And you've had people go, she should, it's an honour. And she's basically turned around and gone, I can't deal with it. It's
I don't want to be away from friends and family. Yeah,
this is for me to do it. And that's the difference for me between Viv Miedema and Kirsten Kasparov and the people who come out and kind of say these wishy-washy half things that sound good, and then you actually look into it and go, well,
what's
stopping you doing it?
On the flip side of that, though, you did want to praise Fallon Tullis-Joyce, didn't you?
I did, because a couple of weeks, and again, we have to mention the men's game. Sorry about this. But obviously, they play football as well. We've got to accept that.
Got to be fair, yeah.
We've got to be fair, that they might be quite good in a few years. The game's growing. But no, obviously, if you follow men's football, you'll be aware of the absolute ridiculousness that's taken place in the Champions League with Vinicius Jr. for Real Madrid. And we still have to say alleged, although I think everybody is fully aware that it more than likely was, abuse from Benfica player Gianluca Prestiani. Firstly, I'm sure on a pod where lots of us are of the LGBT community, the absolute weirdness of a player at the top level of football deciding to use as a defence when being accused of racism, no, I was being homophobic, and think that'll work.
As if that's a lesser crime.
Is horrific. And
it's all hate speech.
Good on Thibaut Courtois as well as another male goalkeeper. It seems to be the goalkeepers a lot, doesn't it? Who stand up and make these points. Thibaut Courtois standing up and going, "What are you talking about, you pleb?" But Fallon Tullis-Joyce was put on the spot slightly after that happened. And obviously, as a white person, I can never hope to understand the effects of racism, the effects of what's going on. All we can do is talk about it and amplify voices. But it is very noticeable. Once again, I felt for Fallon Tullis-Joyce because, you know, she was in a press conference about something else, and someone clearly decided, well, Fallon Tullis-Joyce is a person of colour or a person, you know, a mixed race, so we'll ask her about the racism going on in the men's game. And, you know, at that point, she was put on the spot and had to answer it, and probably all sorts of stuff. But she spoke about it brilliantly. And just, you know, it was just the way she said, without being properly confrontational, it was like, yes, I am a child of coloured parents. I know what this feels like. It's horrific. Football needs to deal with it. You know, all support to Vinicius Jr. because this is the third or fourth time that he personally has been a person on the victim of racism. And she was quite brave in the sense that she took on Jose Mourinho as well, because, you know, Jose Mourinho, of course, with his support and profile in the game, with the horrendous comments he'd made as a Benfica manager afterwards, basically saying Vinny Jr. earned it because he danced in front of the corner flag. So he's got to expect someone to hurl racist abuse at him. And Fallon Tullis-Joyce was basically politely going, Jose, it's shit like that allows stuff like this to continue.
Yeah, because you're essentially saying, oh, well, you've deserved it.
Essentially saying, don't be too loud, don't be too confident, don't be too unapologetically black, or people will have the right to hurl all sorts of racist abuse at you.
It's just, you don't know how people get away with saying that. Like, oh, yeah, it was justified. No, it wasn't. What are you talking about?
It's just the absolute method double of it, of, oh, yeah, it was justified, and they were anti-gay slurs, honest.
Yeah,
you know,
they were just...
I wasn't racist, I just called him anti-gay stuff. And it's like...
So that's not a defense. No. But yes, so we did just want to point out the, you know, more incredible players within the women's game who are speaking out, and Tullis-Joyce is one of them.
Hold on. There's some drama downstairs. I'm going to race down because Nancy's doing something. So
right, okay. Nancy's making trouble. No worries, mate. Right.
What is Nancy up to?
I'm interested in this.
I saw that. Yeah, it's
the third kit on Twitter.
I think they're saying it's not until tomorrow, though. It looks like they're going to announce it tomorrow.
Well,
they're
so
all coming
our last thing, annoyingly, was to look at some of the new kits that have come out. Unfortunately, we've only got two.
Yes.
Two new
Come on,
ones.
we love a kit.
Because...
See, if North Carolina Courage are teasing a third kit, they've got a picture of the other two. Does that mean that some teams are keeping their kits for another season?
Well, because weren't they... Didn't some of them have like 2-year cycles and they're like to reduce...
Yeah, I think so.
That because I know San Diego Wave had the same one the last 2 seasons. So they've teased a release for tomorrow, haven't they? So maybe that's their home kit that they're
so we might be able to tomorrow then.
Going to do.
Action grape, yeah.
Action grape.
Action grape.
Yeah, because so if anyone's interested on the North Carolina Courage page, it says, "What's Nat wearing?" But really, I mean, have they just coloured it in black, or is it going to be black?
I think they've put it as a question mark, haven't they?
Yeah, because I was going to say, because the shirt still has the logos and the sponsor and everything. It's like, you haven't hid it very well if that's what it's...
No, I don't think it's that one.
Could you imagine if that was the reveal?
That's it, yeah. Whoops.
But interestingly, how long has their profile picture been like that rainbowy, shiny one? Because that could be a clue. Clues everywhere.
I think it's been like that for a bit.
Oh, has it? Oh, that's a shame. Oh, right. There's a teaser. Are you ready? There's a teaser trailer. And it's got, for the kit reveal, It's got some Venus flytraps in it, which is quite ominous. There's some bits of pink, some bits of purple. So maybe it is. Maybe it's got something in it. But yes, there's a clue there. Like we said, San Diego Wave are also announcing theirs tomorrow. A day late for the show. Do they not know we come on Wednesdays? But the one that we did tease earlier in the show is possibly my new favorite. I might need to buy one. These are the two that we have already. We talked about Boston Legacy last time, which is, of course, the one on the left. You can't miss it. Looks like a highlighter. The one on the right, however, is beautiful.
Oh, it's so nice.
Absolutely beautiful.
Is that the famous Denver one?
It's a Denver one, yeah.
It's the famous Denver Summit FC. It's their inaugural kit. Now, also, if people have the chance, again, please go and watch the trailer for the announcement of this kit on their Instagram. It's like a movie. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
Disappointed not to see Denver the Last Dinosaur on it, but can't have everything, can you?
Maybe next season. Although we've just got the home kit, they might do that for the away.
Which is true. Still but that's a beauty, though, isn't it? That one.
It is beautiful, and I just had to. So I initially had for both of them just like the front facing ones, but then you can't see like the side detail or like the shoulders or anything. So I went back and I got the views from the other sides, because even the little details of like the yellow around the cuffs and around the neck and the stripes down the side, I just think it's really beautiful. Lindsay Heaps will try 900 bicycle kicks next season, and
it looks like a Team Algeria kit.
Oh, it does a bit. Yeah, it's a lovely, lovely green, isn't it? Now Graham mentioned Action Grape there.
Oh God! So you've started with the nice ones. You've suckered us in with the nice ones.
No, I was just going to give you the description for this Denver one.
Like I said, you've suckered us in with the nice kit.
So,
and Natasha Flint's playing for Denver as well. Didn't realize that.
Oh, that's a WSL name from the past. That is.
And Nahikari Garcia, who we saw first half of the season at Forest.
Yeah,
she's at Denver.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Denver might be our pod team for the next season.
Hey, no, come on, it's not go that far.
Okay, it'll be my team for next season.
Yours, yeah.
on
pod teams.
Don't work for me, Danny.
No, exactly. The Portland Cherry Bombs have released a not a shirt but a skater jacket. Our favourites, the Portland Cherry Bombs. It is
their
glorious.
merchandise is insane. I love it.
It's outstanding. Yeah.
Oh, it's incredible.
I've now got to Google that. You'll get a live reaction of it. As I calm down, because Nancy nearly escaped out the bathroom window. That's what all the chaos was.
Oh, Nancy.
And obviously we're on
I missed this earlier, by the way, going back to England. The Hill Dickey being used.
Yes.
For England-Ukraine. Just spotted that.
It is. They've announced it. Is that in June? Maybe I want to say.
Is in June, yeah, 9th of June, yeah.
9th of June.
I wonder if a certain Chelsea fan group are going to the Big Dick for that game.
Oh, they'll be there. They'll be there.
The Big Dick. There you go.
Accepting all the new members.
I've just realised the double meaning of member.
Well, that's why I always collapsed earlier when he said it.
Oh God!
Oh, that skater jacket is gorgeous.
It's great, isn't it?
Oh,
see, we're gonna have to share it with the people now. Is it on their website?
On the Instagrams.
On the Instagram.
I love, by the way, that they've given their outerwear, like each product range is named. So the outerwear, their slogan is "Weather the Noise," which is a good start. Hoodies and windbreakers built for pitch, pit, or post-show parking lots.
Yeah.
I'm loving the rock aesthetic, the punk aesthetic they've got going.
Yeah, because it's channel your pre-show buzz energy with the Soundcheck skater jacket. Throw it on, crank it up, and make sure you can hear you before the whistle blows. It's just it makes you just excited to
They just
watch
know what
this.
they're doing, don't they? It's like
Mm.
that's. But I would
This
argue
is the jacket for anyone wondering. There you go.
it's a shame. It's a shame that it's a parachute jacket, but the stage dive is gorgeous.
Beautiful.
The parachute jacket, which is loose and braggy. I might have to get one of these.
I've just seen the most amazing thing ever. Inspired by the Runaways, we present our 2026 season brew, the Cherry Blonde. This
Yeah.
beer is a light blonde ale amped with sweet cherry and a splash of lime. Oh, their marketing is.
Have you seen the Double Dare yet? The crew neck.
No, I don't think so.
This is we are adopting the charity bombs because this is basically an emo's dream of a football team.
Yes. Oh, we are. We 100% are. Yes.
The Anthem crew neck I don't like quite so much because I'm not one for big front logos. I love the fact that they've hunted out scene girl models as well. Like they've clearly gone for a very particular aesthetic.
Yeah, they've really gone for right. This is our brand. This is what we want to do. So for 2026, they're in the USLW Northwest Division. They're there with FC Olympia, Roadies FC. Is that big? Oh God, the logos are really small. Snohomish United, Tacoma Galaxy, Salmon Bay FC. Their logos.
Salmon Bay.
Salmon Bay FC. Oh.
I love the skater jacket. I love how they talk about it channels the pre-show buzz, hum of amps, and the clatter of gear.
Oh.
I'm like, normally I'd look at this and go, bit wanky, but
it's just everything about them. So I mean, I don't know if we can ship to the UK, but I think we just need
the
order.
It's showing the prices in British pounds. So I'll bet the shopping would be another 30 quid. But when it's loud, fierce, apologetic, just like the track it's named for, the double-layered crew neck brings the defined spirit of bikini kill to your clothing lineup. I'm like, sorry, I'm sold.
Yeah.
Just for that description alone.
Made for those who show up loud, play harder, and won't wait for permission. Give me 10 of them.
Give us 10 right now. I love it. So yeah, if you're not following Portland Cherry Bombs on Instagram and socials in general, you won't regret it. They are
social media team, click this bit and tag Portland. Honestly,
yes.
put it up about us singing the praises and go, please, we want those.
Please, can you send us some merch? Please
send us merch. Well, do you remember I tagged them the first time we ever mentioned them when they were first formed, and they did like it. So we're following up. We'll be your official podcast. We're there.
Imagine if we were the official European podcast of the Portland Cherry Bombs, and they made
really love that.
every show. We changed the riff at the beginning, so it's we changed the riff at the beginning of Bikini Girl. So it's Rebel Girl by Bikini Kill. I'll just do it properly,
yes. Oh, that would be incredible. Yeah, we'll clip it up and we'll do it. But yes, the Denver Summit description of the kit. Are you ready?
Is it as good as Portland's? Here we go. The bar has been set very high.
Oh, the bar has been set. I don't know. The inaugural Evergreen kit, the first ever for Denver Summit FC, is more than a uniform. It's a declaration of arrival and a love letter to the place we call home. Designed to honor Colorado's untamed beauty and mark a historic first season, the inaugural Evergreen kit captures the spirit of Coloradans, the ruggedness of our community, and the ambition of a club ready for the first climb.
Excellent.
Yeah. Some of it sounds a bit AI, but also that's the way that's what large language models are trained on now, and they all go for that sort of thing.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And the first, I know that sounds a complete buzzkill. Where Danny's gone, oh, and I've just gone bit AI.
Try again. Yeah.
the bit with that captures the spirit of the place we call home is a lovely line.
Yes.
That's the kind of thing that, you know, appeals, because football's so corporate nowadays. I think that's why Portland stuff appeals as well, because even though part of you,
personality, it's got soul to it. Yeah.
Even though part of you is aware that they're kind of going for that, and there's probably been focus groups and meetings of people wearing very thin glasses in shipping containers, all deciding what aesthetic and brand message they want to go for and all that bollocks.
Very
It's still
precise. Yeah. But I really like with the Denver kit as well. I know I pointed out earlier about like the little bits of yellow and obviously the blues and the greens, but they, especially in that trailer that I'm really telling everyone to watch, they've picked it to reflect the landscape. So the green is the forests and the blue is obviously the open sky, and the orange in the logo is like the red rocks. And it's all taken from the different bits of the landscape, which I just thought was really, really artistically done. So yeah, it's a beautiful kit.
At least it's actual things. They haven't done. Green represents the staying power of the state of Colorado and innovation.
Green represents go.
Green represents moving forward. It's like, no, green's trees, lads. That's, you know.
Green's trees. Yeah. Yeah, it's proper. It's taking those elements. Whereas the green of Boston, who knows? They like stationery. I don't know.
Dawn. Because the kit was based on Dawn. It's like fucking like watching the bit in the fucking origin myth in Spider-Man.
Oh, yes. Well, it's like Pirates of the Caribbean, the green flash at first light.
Alien invasion happening in Boston, apparently. Like just
all of the neon green.
That's colorblind. Like
oh dear. But yeah, so like we mentioned then, so these two new ones are out. San Diego Wave and NC Courage are teasing further kits. They should be dropping tomorrow. And for any others, we will keep you posted. But I think we might leave it there. I think that might be everything. But
She Believes Cup. Got to remember that.
She believes.
She believes.
She believes, yeah. Because so it's not just England, of course, even though we focus on them. There's going to be 25 internationals between now and our next pod. So I think we should all choose a random one each and try and watch it. More obscure, the better. Again,
Derby. I'm already there for the Virgin Islands Derby again.
The Virgin Islands Derby. The Chelsea fan group won't be going anywhere in that one.
I'm glad you made that joke, because I was thinking about it. How do I make it?
Oh dear. I was gonna even say that. I enjoyed the Virgin Islands Derby, and then that happened. I was like, oh no, wrong timing.
Virgin Islands Derby, not applicable in King's Meadow. Like,
oh dear. Oh, so many jokes. So many little time.
There we go. Hong Kong are playing Tanzania on Tuesday.
Hong Kong versus Tanzania.
Yes, because of course the Asia Cup as well is kicking off on the 3rd of March, I believe, as well. And She Believes kicking off on the 1st, so even earlier. So Sunday the 1st, you've got Canada, Colombia, USA, Argentina. Where did you find Hong Kong?
No, that's not the She Believes. That was just a random game that's been.
Oh, random game, right? Okay. I was thinking, I was like, "How's that She Believes?"
I mean,
oh no, that's done. They wouldn't let Hong Kong in the She Believes.
I'm assuming this.
I'm so confused, Adam.
This is an autism thing. When some of these games are mentioned, I'm like, how do you even get from Hong Kong to Tanzania? Like, what's? Because there's no direct flight, so it's like, do you fly?
Well, to get there, you have to win 3 qualifying rounds, and then you win a bus ticket. But only if the bus ticket has the number 3 on the end do you get a pass to the airport, where you can get one of 3 planes. You might end up in Brazil at some point. We just don't know.
I did like Sally from Graham that I didn't actually mention. 2-0 win over Ukraine, 1-0 win over Iceland. Path 26.
Yeah. Oh, here's one: Liechtenstein versus Lithuania, World Cup qualifier on Tuesday.
Oh, yes,
That's a banger one.
that sounds incredible.
Apparently, there are one stop. You can fly from Hong Kong to Tenacious D's favorite holiday destination, Zanzibar.
To meet the Zanzibar Barbarians. Name that film. No.
Just obscure. We're going everywhere. We've done the obscure punk thing, and now we're referencing Tenacious D. Some of it.
I was doing Muppet Treasure Island, but there we go.
Oh, that worked. Apparently, you can fly from Hong Kong to Bangkok. So, imagine if Chelsea ever play in Thailand.
Oh, all of the jokes. All of them. Yeah, but
Bangkok score. Like, just...
Paul. So yeah, there are over 25 games plus the Shoe Blues plus the Asia Cup for you to sink your teeth into before the next pod, where we'll have all of those latest details. Remember, there will be kit launches and things like that, so keep an eye on our socials. We'll probably be talking about them. I know we're trying to move a bit more onto Blue Sky as well, so if you don't follow us, please do so already, both on the pod account and on the 3 of us. We're quite active on Blue Sky as well, so do give us a shout. I also wanted to say something that I can't remember.
Mario's for next week, because that'll be another 20-minute rant.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I think if we pause it here, but for everyone watching, we have started to digest the Mary Earp's redemption arc, but we will have a space for it next week amongst the internationals, because I think that then fits quite nicely, because one of her things is just trying to build bridges with Serena Wiegmann.
And we can look at the fallout of it a lot more after a week rather than reacting to it today as well.
Yeah, and reading everything that's coming out
Bridges with Serena Wiegmann is a great ITV show that I'd watch.
That's an Alan Partridge with a dictaphone,
Yeah.
isn't it? Building bridges with Serena Wiegmann. Like, youth hostelling.
And she's just there like, why did I get signed up for this shit? What's going on? Why am I here? But yeah, so we will be back next Wednesday with all of the latest news from the world of internationals and beyond. And who knows, maybe some more chaos, some more kits, and some more announcements of some sort. Who knows? Because who knows?
If you've got any more comedy fan group names, please send them in.
Yeah, comedy fan groups. Whack them in. Also, just a shameless plug from me. As part of my Villa podcast, which some people jump into on Thursday, so thank you. We won't be going live tomorrow because we weren't in the FA Cup. But we've recorded some interviews with some ex-Villa players from the 90s, so very much from the Villa Aztecs into the Villa Ladies era. And the first one of those will be released tomorrow on our YouTube channel. So have a look out on my socials for that one. But it was really good fun. And it was nice to kind of see a different side to the club that there just isn't a history of anywhere. It's so fragmented. So that's what I'm trying to do at the minute. Build a history.
You sent me that one Villa playing a Coventry team, and I was like,
yeah,
there was a Coventry women's team in the 70s as well.
The Coventry Bantams.
The Coventry Bantams, which is the original name of the Sky Blues. No, Tony, we're not called Frankers.
But there was because everyone was like, oh, Aston Villa were originally Solihull Ladies and blah blah blah, but there was actually another team called Aston Villa Ladies who were playing in 72, and then the Aztecs actually played Aston Villa ladies. So it can become quite complicated trying to follow one train of thought, because I've got someone down in one newspaper as their surname is Hull, in a different newspaper it's Hall. So, okay, well,
this is what Adam was saying. Arsenal friend Adam was saying for Arsenal, supposedly one of the most famous teams and whatever. Didn't he say there was something like 92 goals that have been scored for Arsenal in like the 80s and 90s, where people just don't know who scored them because there's no record. There's no record in the games of who scored or what the results were or anything.
Yeah, but it's so interesting. So I've been trawling through like newspaper archives, and then there was actually a mention of the Aztecs doing a penalty shootout at Villa Park ahead of the First Division Villa Everton match in the 80s, and there was a reference to the team will be photographed and put in the men's match day program. So that was my next thing. I was like, well, I've got to find this men's match day program. So thank God to all of the collectors out there. Thank you so much, because on this history of Villa men, someone scanned in the program from that match, which was incredible.
Villa Everton one, or was it from
from the Villa Everton one. And this, have I got it? Is it that one? Hang on, I'll show you what I found. It was really cool.
I've got this vision of you now, like on online archives. You know those montages of Indiana Jones where people are looking at microfilm in dusty library vaults.
Honestly, that's me. That's my dream. Yeah, this is the picture. Look how good quality it is, considering it's. Look at that.
Wow.
That's cool.
Oh, 1989 as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to do, this hasn't gone live yet. This is a sneak peek. So it's everything that I
love an expected crowd of 20,000 at Villa Park for a
first little star next to it.
Yeah, 16 members of the Villa Aztecs from the West Midlands Regional Women's League. There you go. But adopted by Villa in the summer, and there was a little one I need to show you now. Hang on, where's it gone?
Some little things like the Aston Villa women's team are hot on the cup trail. Oh, I bet it's fun looking through 70s because you've got 70s newspapers.
Villa set to adopt female players. That is the announcement. That was it. But the best thing was, again, sorry, this has gone a bit off piece.
I'm already reading it. Just the bit where it's the chairperson of Solihull Ladies is an acquiring officer assistant at Willenhall Police Station in Walsall.
Yeah. And she's the one that did it. So she was the one who made this connection, made it happen, and then said, this link with Aston Villa is recognition for women's football.
Operating from Dunlop Social Club in Erdington.
Yes.
In a field in the back.
By the pub. So yeah, but it's so interesting.
I love that kind of thing. That's very good.
The amount of sexist headlines and just the way that they were allowed to talk about women in women's football in the 70s. I'm reading it like,
oh God,
come on, say that. They were calling them the dollies, the football dollies and things. And I was like, what?
I mean that hasn't really jumped, because there was that Chelsea game a couple of years ago where Pernilla Harder scored a hat-trick and Erin Cuthbert got the fourth, and someone realised that the order of goal scorers was a great headline, and then there were all the jokes about it sounding like a bad porn film.
I remember that, yeah. But it was
2024, that wasn't it? So like,
I'll have to find that article I'm thinking about and share it with you off air, because it was very much like, did you know that women are playing soccer now? And that was it. One of the games at Villa Park, it was on Boxing Day. Villa women will take place. It wasn't the penalty shootout, it was this other little charity match before the men's game. It ended with, keep off the Christmas pud, girls.
Jeez.
That was the parting line after this.
That sounds like a. Not
It's
really
just
savage,
like,
but that kind of BBC light entertainment. You can almost imagine the Pathé News voiceover, can't you?
yeah.
Yeah.
Women
And
can play
women
football
are
too, and
coming out
some of
onto
them
a
will be
pitch.
strutting their stuff in front
Yeah.
of an expectant
Yeah.
crowd at Villa Park. Don't worry, keep off the Christmas pud, girls. Like,
No makeup here as they enter the pitch. It's honestly, there's some absolute corkers. Like you think, thank God, like people will get pulled up on that now if they dared. But yeah, just honestly, some of
she's
them.
beautiful, and she can find the back of the net as well.
Well, they're interviewing the boyfriends of the players. So it'd be like, Christine, I don't know, someone scored 3 goals this weekend, but we interviewed her boyfriend, whoever.
He's a factory worker in Small Heath.
And he says, if she had a choice between football and me, she'd pick football.
like angry, genuinely annoyed about it.
Yeah.
She can find the net, but she hasn't found a husband. Line up, gentlemen. Like, you know.
But what I did like about that Mary Hull, that was the chairwoman, she said, someone asked her, well, you've got a wide range of players between 13 and 33, but none of them are mothers. Do you think, like, is that an issue? So, but her reply was, well, I got married and had children and went back to playing football. So why can't they? And I was like, yes.
That's a genuine question. You've got players between 13 and 33 and none of them are mothers. Well,
and none of them are mothers, yeah.
I'd hope at least some of them weren't. Like,
yeah.
I know from Comfy I joke about Birmingham being backward, but it weren't that flipping backward in the 70s. Jeez.
No, honestly, it's
60s, but
really eye-opening.
That's mad.
Yeah. So yes, so I will stop talking about it there. But yeah, there's some very interesting comments. But yeah, it just very eye-opening. So yeah, so that is a work in progress.
You can make a thing alongside part of the Pride where every week you go, Freya's update on what she's found out about Villa women.
Oh yes, yeah, make it a weekly thing. Yeah,
make it a weekly thing, and you could just go, "What horrifically sexist thing from the 70s has Freya discovered in her research into Villa women?"
I've just remembered one thing that stood out, and I will leave you all with this parting gift. They were interviewing people on women's football, what they thought of it, and there was this one schoolgirl who they interviewed. I think she was about 15 at the time. And her response was, I'm not interested in it. I'd rather play on my euphonium. And I was thinking about making that into a t-shirt. I thought that was
a euphemism.
I'd rather play on my euphonium. So there we have it, folks. The Absolute Women's Football Show coming to a close. And we hope you wouldn't rather play on your euphonium.
Please. Hashtag playing the euphonium.
But that was the standard. So we will leave it there. Thank you everyone who soldiered on through the comment issues on YouTube, and you came and watched us on X instead to put your comments through. So thank you very much. We do appreciate you, everyone watching and listening and getting involved. We will be back next Wednesday, as we said, with all the international news and everything in between. So we hope you have a good week, good evening, and good night. Bye bye.